Jill, the health coach here. Today I want to talk about the flu, or really how to defend yourself against the flu. I guess it breaks down into two ways that you can do it. You can do it with more or less the flu shot, or you can do it naturally, which entails really boosting your immune system so that it can fight off any viruses that may come into your body. So let's talk about the flu shot for a moment. How does it work? It works by scientists at the CDC. They make a prediction of 3 strains, and they predict 9 months ahead of flu season what 3 strains are going to be the big flu for the next season. So the only problem is there are a few hundred possible strains, and they only pick 3. So it really is hit or miss in terms of whether it's going to be effective. And many years it's been abysmal in terms of the effectiveness because, people still get the flu even though they had the flu shot because they get a different strain. So that's what happens often. Also, with the flu shot, they add some kind of questionable stuff. I mean, they have to add some type of a preservative. But the preservatives that they add are actually really, really toxic. And that's the biggest problem I have with the flu shot. I don't have it with the virus. It's neither here nor there. It's fine, because what it does is if they give you the virus, basically your body will develop an antibody to that virus. So that way, if you do catch the flu or get the actual virus, your body already sees, has already been exposed to that virus and knows how to defend itself against it, which is fine. But again, it's the preservatives and the other things that they add that I find questionable. So what do they add? They add things like thimerosal, which is made of mercury. Now, mercury is it's the second most toxic element in the world, next to uranium. So we know this is very, very toxic to us. And then also they add aluminum also as an adjuvant. And aluminum is extremely toxic too. As a matter of fact, in people with Alzheimer's, they find most people that they've done autopsies with, there's always aluminum in their brain. So you definitely do not want to have aluminum if you don't have to. So that's my only problem with the flu shot. And then just the fact that, they don't always work. And that was my experience. So my daughter has an autoimmune disease, and back in 2009 when the swine flu was, they had this big huge scare about it. So I was like, all right, I will get the shot. But the problem is that, the shots come in different ways. They come in a vial pack, which means that there's usually 10 vials all stacked together. And the problem is the shots that are at the bottom are the ones that, because the preservatives kind of float to the bottom. So those are the ones that have the most mercury and aluminum and some other toxic things. So I would never do a multi-vial pack, because if you are unlucky and have those bottom 2, you may have a real heavy dose of toxins. So I went in search of a single vial shot, which my doctor's office says, oh no, those don't have any preservatives in them. But I did go and call the pharmaceutical company at the time, and they told me that yes, there are preservatives. There was going to be thimerosal, but it is less than in the multi-vial pack. So I was like, all right, I guess it's worth the risk. They kept telling me, you got to do it. So anyway, we found the single vial. My daughter got it done. She went off to camp, and guess what? She got swine flu. It didn't protect her at all. As a matter of fact, the poor kid was quarantined for a week at this, leadership camp. And then they actually sent her home for another week because they just, they didn't want her to infect anyone. So she lost 2 whole weeks of this leadership camp because she ended up getting the swine flu even though she got the flu shot. So we were pretty much done with the flu. Now, personally, I've never gotten the flu because I pretty much use the boosting my immunity type. That's my method. That's my approach. So what I do is I will take vitamin D3. I think that personally helps boost your immune system. It's a hormone, and it does an amazing job. And as a matter of fact, most people are deficient in vitamin D3, And as a matter of fact, I never forget listening to an interview by one of the candidates to be the new Surgeon General when President Obama was elected into office. And he basically said that if I'm Surgeon General, I will make it mandatory to have vitamin D testing, because in my practice, I find that over 90% of my patients are deficient in vitamin D. Now, it never happened, so it still is up to us to be proactive and always ask your doctors to get tested for your vitamin D levels. They should be above 50. Very, very important. And if they are, then you should be able to fend yourself off of, these viruses. Also, a great way to boost your immunity is with vitamin C, just regular ascorbic acid. And but the biggest thing is to eat cleanly. When you eat the food your body was intended to eat, that's what nourishes us, and that's what really boosts our immune system naturally. All these processed foods, all they do is they clog up our system and they suppress our body's ability to boost our immune system. So it's really, really important to eat one ingredient foods, lots of fruit, veggies, clean proteins, no GMOs, try to eat organic as much as possible. So let's talk about real quick, if you do get the flu, which does happen, it can happen, I recommend these certain things. First, at the very first sign of a flu, I would get this stuff. It's a homeopathic, and it's pronounced oscillococcinum. It's a crazy long name, but it really works. And they're just sugar pellets. And all you do at the first sign, you take a vial and under your tongue, you let it melt, and it's amazing how well it works. Then I would also boost it again with vitamin D3. I like the Solar Gems because they have oil in them, and vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin, so you actually need some type of fat to be able to get them absorbed into your cell. So I would take 8,000 twice a day while you still have the flu. I would also take vitamin C, any regular vitamin C, honestly, ascorbic acid, that'll do it. And what I would do is I would take like 2 grams or 2,000 milligrams every hour. And I will tell you, it doesn't work when you don't take enough. So you'd be amazed how quickly it works, and you could really bang out that flu in 24 hours, even the worst of them I've seen. And then another thing that I like is called elderberry, and that seems to work well. I like the Gaia. It's like a liquid and easy to take. So these are helpful things with the flu, and hopefully I have helped you in terms of what you want to do in terms of defending yourself from the flu. So if you want to read anything further, feel free to check out JillTheHealthCoach.com, or you can always check out my YouTube channel, Jill the Health Coach.